All right, so today we're going to cover some tips to sell more on Facebook Marketplace. Now, this is mainly geared towards drop shippers, but a lot of these tips are going to be whether you're reselling your own products or if you're a drop shipper, okay? Now, I have 11 things here that I'm going to cover really briefly. It's more of like a rant, right? I'm going to touch on each point and my experience with it and why I think it will help you sell more on the marketplace. And we're just going to move through them one by one. So first and foremost is to use software if you don't already know. There's a lot of software out there now. Two of the most prominent ones are ZDrop and FBM Fox, but I think there's like 5 to 10 of them out there. I personally use ZDrop. I love it. Basically what it does, it has a lot of functions now, and so does FBM Fox. Basically what ZDrop does, the main thing that it does is copy listings from websites like Amazon or Walmart or Home Depot or Target, or literally there's like 50 to 100 websites that it copies listings from, and it will take those listings and paste them on a Facebook Marketplace, as well as Etsy, as well as Poshmark, as well as Mercari, okay? It also lets you copy the addresses and then paste them into Amazon or Walmart or Target or wherever you're actually ordering from, right? And that way you can, when you get it on Facebook Marketplace or you get an order on Poshmark or you get an order on Mercari or something like that, you can just hit the copy address button and then paste it when you go to checkout. You might think that that doesn't take a lot of time, right? And that's basic and simple. But if you scale and you have a lot of orders, it's going to save you a lot of time in the day, in the week, in the month, and in the long run, right? And it's just like a lot less of a headache, right? So those are the two most prominent features that I see with ZDrop that I love, but it's got a lot of other stuff. It obviously keeps track of all your listings so you can search them and find them. It also does a number of other things, but we won't get into them specifically right here. Now, I know FBM Fox does have a part in its software specifically that, and I think they actually took it down recently and they're redoing it. I haven't actually tried it, so take this with a grain of salt. And basically what happens is they'll track the stock of your inventory and the prices and then change it on your marketplace, right? So that's a great, really advantageous part of their software that ZDrop doesn't have. Although in my experience, if you're scaled a little bit, it really doesn't matter. I haven't tracked literally any prices. I haven't tracked any stock specifically on Facebook Marketplace. If you're doing something like an eBay or an Amazon where your metrics matter a lot more currently, you're definitely going to want to do something like that. But I haven't seen a need for it specifically in my own business. A lot of my prices are already marked up decently, so if the price fluctuates, I still have a margin. And then obviously once I get an order, I can adjust it then. And then the majority of your listings aren't going to sell anyway, so you don't really need to worry about that. But that's just something to kind of keep an eye on for the future if, you start to, eventually scale up, and it's a lot to manage, right? But I don't think that that's too important, especially if you're starting. But even me, like I've scaled up, I think I'm done like 500 sales so far this month. I still don't use one, and I don't really see a need for one currently, okay? And also FBM Fox is a lot more expensive than ZDrop. Not saying the software doesn't work. It probably is a great software. ZDrop is super cheap. I think it's like 12 bucks a month, and it literally does everything you're gonna need it to do for you, okay? Now the second thing is, that first one was a little bit long, so I'll try to move through these quickly. The second thing is to tweak your listing. This is one of the easiest tips I could give you that I've seen works drastically, okay? So tweak your listing. That could mean anything. That could mean move the pictures around. One of the biggest things that I've seen is the first listing picture makes the most difference, okay? So the keywords in the title, obviously the keywords in your description, your price, all those things matter and what the item is and the demand for it. But the first thing that people are gonna see when they're searching for it, or when it's, given to them in their feed, is the picture, right? That's what's gonna sell it, okay? So when I say tweak the listing, that could mean move a picture to the front and switch the pictures up. That could mean switch something in the title. That could mean change the price and then increase the shipping, or, increase the price and then offer free shipping, or whatever you wanna do. Just change something and republish it, because that will renew the listing and move it to the top of the actual, of marketplace, so it gets more eyes and more visibility. And one of the best things that I've done is like, I'll sit there and I'll think like, okay, or I'll go through my sales, like my past sales, and be like, this sold like 5 times a month ago, but it hasn't sold at all this month. So what I'll do is I'll tweak the listing, and then bam, like the same day or like the next day or two, I get a couple sales there. And the only different thing that I did there was tweak something in the listing and republish it, okay? So obviously there's something going on there, and obviously tweaking your listing Doesn't work every single time, but it definitely moves it to the top of the marketplace. It gives it more visibility and gives you a higher likelihood to sell your stuff, okay? So if your items aren't selling, or if you have other items that have sold a lot in the past, try to tweak something in the listing. It will make a difference and hopefully increase your sales, all right? Now, the third one is to change the same thing with the tweaking of the listing, especially for past sales, but that's just change the picture, the price, or the shipping, okay? Just like I talked about, the first picture matters so much. So if you're using like a white background image, that can work, but often if you change the picture to something that's not necessarily a review image, I know a lot of people talk about that and that can work, but a lot of times like you'll have, especially if you're pulling from like Amazon or a Walmart, you'll have a white image, PNG picture where it's just like all the background's taken out, it's just the image. But that kind of looks like one of those listings. And so if you take one of the pictures from like the third or the fourth slot in the actual listing and you move that to the front where it's got like a background and the customer can actually start picturing, themselves using it in their everyday life and what it actually, looks like in, when somebody's using it, whether it's like in a garden or in a house or, on a wall or whatever it is, right? It seems to work a lot better for me, so you can try to change the picture, obviously, for that reason. The white background images do sell. I have a lot of listings with white background images that sell very well. But if you held a gun to my head, metaphorically, obviously, and asked me which one do I prefer, which one do I think sells better, I would say the images with a background do tend to sell a little bit better, all right? Also, the price and the shipping. So I've been playing around and kind of split testing over the past like 2.5 months, and I've really only been doing this full time for like 2.5 months now. And I've been testing like high prices with free shipping and low prices with shipping, okay? And basically, I found personally in my business that I sell a lot better with lower prices and actually offering shipping prices, right? So like whether instead of like, let's say like I charge $35 and $5 shipping, I sell that a lot better as opposed to if I were like $43 and free shipping or $40 and free shipping, right? And I know a lot of other people say the complete opposite, so I would say test it for you and see what works for you. But in my business, with all my listings, I tend to sell a lot better when I charge for shipping, okay? So I would say play around with those things, change the picture, change the price, change the shipping, and see what works best for you, but that's been my experience, okay? Now, the next one, number 4, is when using a thing like OA Genius, which is a tracking software or a tracking thing where you can actually buy tracking numbers if for whatever reason you're using like an Amazon, if you're using like an Amazon listing and you get like a TBA tracking number from Amazon, or if you're using Walmart and they actually take it with like DoorDash or something like that and they don't provide you with a tracking number. So OA Genius basically is a place where obviously if you've used it before, and if you haven't, it's basically just a place where you can buy tracking numbers to your actual town of the delivery, right? At an expected date, right? So if you don't know what that means, I have an entire video on it. You can find it on this channel. But the tip here that I've noticed, and this will help you sell more and actually keep more of your sales, because this is something that I've seen as an issue in my own business, is shoot to, when you actually go and put like the date in for your tracking number on OA Genius, shoot for a tracking number that's actually after the expected delivery date, right? So it's literally May 24th right now. Let's say you're looking for a tracking number on May 25th for your customer, right? It just shipped and it's a TBA tracking number, or it's a Walmart tracking number with a DoorDash the next day. Well, if you're looking for an estimated delivery on the 25th, don't go for the 25th, right? Instead, go for the 26th to the 27th, a day after, because that way you're gonna get your money fast, right? Because you're still only a day after with your tracking number, so Facebook will pay you only a day later, right? So not like 30 days later, which is great. But that also will prevent headaches, because I've seen that a lot of people will message you because they're looking at the tracking and be like, this shows that it was delivered and it wasn't delivered, and then they're all up in arms and they're all pissed off. Or this says it was delivered and it was delivered to my garage, or it was delivered to or handed directly to a resident, but I've been outside gardening the entire day and nobody handed me anything, no truck pulled up, right? And so it will save you a lot of headaches for customers that, are a little annoyed about that. And I've also seen a couple times, not a lot, but a couple times people will literally just put a claim in immediately when they see that. If they message you, or even if they don't, they'll just put a claim into Facebook for that specific reason, and Facebook will just refund their money immediately, and then you're out the sale and you're out the profit, and you might not even realize that. Then they're getting the item, they're keeping their money and you just fronted them a free item and you don't even know it half the time, right? So I pieced that together. So I'm telling you, when you're using OA Genius, do not do the same day of the estimated delivery date. A day later at least. Obviously a day later would be the best case scenario for you, because nobody's gonna be pissed off if their item shows up before the expected delivery date, right? They're gonna be happy. But if their item shows up later than the expected delivery date and their tracking shows delivered, that's when you're gonna run into issues, and that's when they might get refunds from Facebook, so don't do that, okay? That will help you obviously keep more of your sales and more of your profit, because if you're losing sales, then, you know, it's the same thing as getting more sales, right? So number 5 is to list more and list consistently every single day, okay? This is one of the easiest tips, but it's literally probably one of the best tips that I can give you. A lot of times people will message me or they'll comment and they'll be like, hey, my sales are low, or I'll even see this in a lot of the Facebook groups that I'm in, and it'll be like my sales are low or my views are low, and a lot of these people are listing like super, super low, okay? So I don't care if you're listing 5 a day, I don't care if you're listing 10 a day, I don't care if you're listing 50 a day. If you're not seeing the results that you expect to be seeing, or you want to scale up more, the answer is to list more, okay? It's really that simple. It's not rocket science, okay? I've scaled my business up to, I think I'm gonna do an entire like next month's report, but I'm estimating like $6,000 profit, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit that, maybe like a little bit more this month specifically. So I've scaled my business, I've successfully done it, and my biggest secret is not a secret at all. It's literally just listing more, okay? And the tips I'm gonna give you, obviously, you know, going down this list a little bit more, are gonna help you do that better, okay? So it's no secret, list more, okay? Now, the next one is to list better products. So I've done so many different videos. I don't want to go in depth on like how to find hot selling products to list. So I think the last 2 videos specifically are those. And there's also like 2 or 3 other ones with like other innovative ideas that you can get. So just look through the channel recently over the past month or 2, and you will see a lot of tip videos on how to find hot selling products for Facebook Marketplace. I'm not withholding any secrets here and being like, oh, I'm only gonna put out videos for people that of things like that I'm not doing, or of things that I'm not withholding any secrets, is basically what I'm saying. Every video that I put out is exactly what I do. There's no secrets here, so emulate those things and they will work for you. They've worked very, very well for me, all right? So list more, obviously, and list more consistently. That was 5. Number 6 is list better products. Watch those videos. Find good ways to list products. There's no secrets here. I put all the information out there for you, all right? Number 7 is to stop worrying about listings that don't sell. Now, this one is, you know, something I see in the Facebook groups all the time. It's like, people are like, hey, I listed 20 products today and none of them got any views. It's like, that sucks. I get it. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I've listed, you know, hundreds of things. I've listed thousands of things now. There's probably thousands of things up on my actual, like across 2 profiles, because I use 2 different ones. But the majority of my listings don't sell, and the majority of my listings don't get views, right? And that's okay, okay? So they're shots in the dark a lot of times. You're testing different things, or you're playing the volume game. Obviously, you want to list potentially in-demand products, but that said, eventually, obviously, not eventually, but over time, you're going to notice that the majority of your listings aren't getting views. The majority of your listings don't sell, but that's okay, because you only need a small number of sales and small number of items that do get listings and do get views and do get sales. And a lot of them will sell over and over and over again. I have one item in particular that I have a couple items like this actually, but one item I'm thinking of in particular that sells like 5 to 10 a day, every single day, and that's like $5 to $10 profit every single day, every single sale, right? So, or $5 to $10 profit every sale. It's closer to 10 usually, depending on the taxes, because I'm not tax exempt with this specific supplier. So it's about $10 profit, about 5 to 10 times a day, every single day, right? So stop worrying about listings that are not selling or aren't getting views. Just move on, keep listing. You will get success if you don't worry about the losses and you keep focused, keep moving forward, and keep listing, okay? So that's number 7. Number 8 is the same exact thing that I just touched on. Stop worrying about the views that you're getting and thinking that like the algorithm is out to get you. Again, I see so many people like complaining about this in the Facebook group. I'll see so many comments where it's like, my views are down 50% this week. Like, is this an update? Is this Facebook shadow ban? Like, no, it's not. The algorithm is not out to get you, okay? It's just the products that you're listing. List more products, list better selling products. There's no secrets here. Just list more. Stop complaining about it, okay? That's my opinion on that. I see it all the time in the Facebook groups. Just list more. There's no secrets, okay? The next one is to adjust your prices. So like I said before, lower your prices and try to charge for shipping, right? Or raise your prices and try to offer free shipping. See what works for you, but adjusting your prices works very, very well. And I know I touched on this before, but the thing here is you can adjust your prices later on, right? So if you list higher and your margins are like 40 or 50 or 60% or whatever you're listing at, right? And you see an item that's getting views but not sales, adjust your price, okay? And then you can switch your price to offer shipping or offer free shipping to, make it or simulate a better offer to the buyer, right? Or a lot of times what I'll do is I'll mark things up very, very high, like 50% margins, right? And if I notice an item is getting views but it's not selling ever, or even the items that are selling but then stop, I'll drop the price a little bit and cut my margin. And what that does is it puts a little cross outline on the original price and it looks discounted to new buyers, okay? That's a hack that's worked very, very well for me. Try it out, adjust your prices. Obviously in the beginning, like we talked about, play around with the shipping or charging for the free shipping or charging for shipping, but also cut your prices and it will make that little slash and simulate urgency for buyers, like there's almost like a sale or they're getting a better deal or something of those sorts, all right? Now, the last two really fast are the last one here that I'm going to talk about in a second is the most important thing that I've done to scale my business this month, and I'm going to talk about here in a second. But number 10 is to renew your listings constantly and also relist. Now, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just me, but I think Facebook took down the ability to renew all your listings both on desktop and on mobile, or at least they did it for me, which is kind of annoying. I still renew them every single day. I have like a wake up checklist of things that I do. One is like customer service. The other one is like check listing pictures for my VA, which is something we're gonna talk about here in a second. And another one is like renew all the listings with the option on Marketplace, right? So if you're on your phone, and I've shown this in videos before, you go to like your little profile thing, and then you go to let me just pull it up really fast. I'll show you. So if you go to Facebook Marketplace, and you go to the Marketplace on the bottom, and you go to your little profile picture on the top right, and then you go to Quick Actions, there will pop up a thing, usually if you have the ability to renew listings with Renew. And then you just go down and you hit Renew. What that basically does is it moves your listings obviously up to the top of Marketplace so they're getting more views because listings only have a shelf life of 7 days after you list them, right? And then you can renew them 5 different times. So renew all your listings every single day that are, potentially have the potential to be renewed, as well as relist items that have went stale or have been renewed over 5 times, right? So renew and relist, I'm telling you that works. Half the time when I renew a bunch of things a day, because I have thousands of listings now, like we're talking like I'm renewing 50 to 100 items a day sometimes. Often one of those things that I renew sells, so that's an easy way to get more obviously views, but then obviously get more sales on the day. And the final thing that I want to touch on as I'm looking at my computer right now and my VA is on, I don't want to turn that really fast, but because like the only reason I have this computer sitting here right now open is because the actual like frame broke, so I can't close it. So I had to buy a completely new computer. So I don't really want to turn this, but maybe I will just kind of show you. There's a person right now just on my computer. They're a little bit slow right now, but whatever. I'm testing a bunch of different VAs, but the one guy's actually killing it right now, and that's the hire or outsource, okay? So immediately when you start, you wanna, and I've done so many different businesses as an entrepreneur over the past like 5 years, so I get this, but like you wanna hold on to like every little bit of profit, right? And we're all control freaks in a lot of ways, and we're all perfectionists in a lot of ways, and we don't wanna let go of something in our business, right? But as soon as you let go of that and you have the ability to hire or outsource, it doesn't matter if you go through Fiverr, it doesn't matter if you go through Upwork, it doesn't matter if you go through like an onlinejobs.ph, right? If you hire and outsource the little tasks, I'm not saying you have to hire and outsource everything, okay? But start small. Start outsourcing listing, which literally anybody can do, okay? If you hire for things like listing, you're gonna buy back a lot of your time so that you can focus on other ways to scale your business, find hot selling products, apply it to a different marketplace like Amazon or something like that, right? Or anything else that's gonna help scale your business that is not spending your valuable time doing something that you can hire very, very cheap for, like using ZDrop to list to marketplace. I have so many people that do that for me now. I'm testing out to see who's better, but like this dude's been killing it, or this might not be the actual dude that's killing it, but I have a couple different people I'm trying, and one of them, the guy is incredible. He does it super fast. He's like hungry for more work. So hire or outsource little tasks that you can outsource very, very cheaply, and it will buy back a lot of your time. It will be a lot less stress on you. And my margins haven't suffered at all. Believe it or not, I actually think they've increased because the amount that I'm paying this person is less than the amount that they list and the ability that they're able to increase my sales by listing more products every day, right? Because before, when I was doing it myself, I was burnt out. I was tired from listing like 50 to 150 listings every single day, and that's what I was up to. I know a lot of people say like, don't list more than 20, but I think that that's just fear. I think you have the ability to list 150, so if you can list 150 and you're drop shipping, obviously, you should do that, I think, right? That's what I do. I'm literally, it's not just something I'm telling you to do, I do it as well, right? And so I was like burnout every single day just listing, and then I had other things from like other sides of my business, and it was just a lot. And there was a couple days in there where like I had to just take the day off because I was so burnt out, right? But you can hire those things super, super cheap. I think that I pay this person like 60 cents a listing because I calculated it. So at 60 cents a listing hot selling products, it's completely worth it, all right? So I didn't really plan this out. It was kind of just like spitballing off the top of my head, and it was kind of a rant. I hope that these tips helped you. These are 11 tips to help you sell more on Facebook Marketplace, primarily geared towards drop shippers, but obviously this can help anybody selling on Marketplace for the most part. But I'd love to hear from you. What is your tips? What is your number one tip, especially if you could give one person that you were like kind of training or mentoring, one tip, obviously, to help you sell more on Marketplace, what would that be? So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got a lot of value out of it, and I'll see you in the next one.